It's Tuesday, the 12th day of October, 2021. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're back at it on a chilly Tuesday morning. 34 degrees outside of our studios, but there are locations in our viewing area that are colder than that, considerably colder than that. Moses Lake, 28. Omak, 27. Dryden, 31 degrees. It's 31 in Cashmere, 34 in Chelan. And we still have that freeze warning. It remains in effect until 9 o'clock this morning. Pretty chilly outside, and it's not going to warm up a great deal today. In fact, it's going to be cooler than it was yesterday. We only hit 57 on Monday. Bit of a change in the weather. Could see some snow in the mountain passes tonight as the system comes through. It's going to be maybe a couple of inches on the higher passes, say Stevens Pass. Could get a couple of inches. It's going to be slushy, glushy kind of stuff. It's going to dissipate, but a friendly reminder, winter is coming on. So forecast details are coming up. We'll have the latest news. Lots of baseball highlights. They were supposed to play 4 games in their respective divisional series yesterday. They only got 3 in. They were rained out in Chicago. So the Astros and the White Sox will try to do it again this morning, but we have highlights. The Red Sox have punched their ticket. The Dodgers are on the brink of elimination, as are the Brewers. Plus, we'll have some high school sports to get to. And speaking of sports, in the back half of this program, we had a chance to visit for the very first time with Sean Zears. Sean is the interim broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild. As you know, our good friend Arch Ecker, a regular contributor to this program, was in a serious car accident last summer. He survived, hospitalized in Spokane for quite some time, then rehab, and now he's back home. But while Arch is on the mend, Sean is going to be calling the Wenatchee Wild games for you followers of Wenatchee Wild hockey, whose season is already underway. We'll get to know Sean and talk a little Wild hockey in the back half of the program. We did that interview via Skype from Sean's home in Illinois, which is where he lives. He's calling the games remotely. And good guy. I like that conversation. And everything else you need to start your day, such as this, our views around the Wenatchee Valley. We're not to sunrise yet. This is the last day, by the way, of over 11 hours of sunlight, and it ain't much of that. It's 11 hours and 11 hours and 2 minutes of daylight today. Tomorrow we'll go under that 11-hour mark with sunrise this morning at 7:16, sunset tonight at 6:18. So we're not close to sunrise yet, but we're letting in as much light as the cross camera can let us, pointing down towards Rock Island and the Rock Island Dam in the East Wenatchee area, because that's where the light is. Camera number 2. That's a spectacular view from Jump Off Ridge. And again, it might be a little, you're going, wait a minute, it's not that light out. It isn't that light out. Again, that camera, because it has such a huge swath of real estate to look at, is letting in as much light as it possibly can. So it looks lighter on that screen that you see than it actually is. Steamboat Basin to your left, the Wenatchee Valley off into the distance, and almost all of East Wenatchee and the East Wenatchee Bench in the view there from Jump Off Ridge. That's a beautiful view. Camera number 3. They're all beautiful views. Who's kidding who? Oh, me, oh my, it's Omi Gardens. Look at that. Beautiful salmon peach-colored sunrise. My guess is with the high clouds, in about 3 or 4 more minutes, that's just going to look gorgeous. Omi Gardens looking out towards Rocky Reach Dam. Finally got to go to the Discovery Center last week. I like it. Very well done. Very well done at the Discovery Center. And camera number, are we up to 4 already? I've lost track. The Waterville camera, again, one of our perennial favorites. Aniat is to your lower right-hand corner. You can make out the Aniat River emptying into the Columbia. Way down to the distance in the upper left-hand corner is the Wenatchee Valley from our Waterville camera. And again, these are PTZs, pan, tilt, zoom. We can go in and out. We can go up and down. We can go left and right. We can do the hokey pokey. These are spectacular tools for us to use for news gathering purposes. And they are tools, not toys. We have to remind our coworkers of that every once in a while. Nice work this morning from Mr. Darby. Cool, wet, snow in the upper elevations. This slide provided to us from the National Weather Service. So again, later on this afternoon into the evening hours, there is a chance of some light snow in the Cascades. Now, the snow level is going to be by overnight tonight at about 3,300 feet. Now, this is going to be the coldest overnight lows we're going to see in a while. We're going to see overnight lows warmer by at least 5 or 10 degrees by the time we get to the middle of the week, because this cold air is going to dissipate. So once the frost burns off, we'll see sunshine for the most part today. But again, late this afternoon into the evening hours, especially overnight, you could get some light snow in the Cascades. Certainly Mission Ridge is going to get a little bit of light snow possible on Wednesday. Again, in the overnight hours, as a system goes through here in the Wenatchee Valley, we're looking at rain, and then we're going to cool right back down again towards the back half of the week. And again, we still have the freeze warning. It still stays in effect until 9 o'clock this morning. The coldest temperatures of the day will normally bottom out shortly after sunrise. For the record, our high yesterday was 57, our low was 36. We're already at 34, and we'll probably get a couple of degrees cooler before the slow warming process begins. So, without further ado, from the National Weather Service. 59 our forecast high. Again, 57 was our high yesterday. I don't know if we're going to get to 59, maybe right around 57. As the day progresses, the clouds will begin to roll in as this system begins to make itself felt. 37 for the overnight low. Now, we do have a chance of some sprinkles late in the afternoon, early evening hour with some snow in the upper elevations. The snow level, again, at about 3,300 feet. Probably just an inch, maybe two on Stevens. It doesn't look like I-90 is probably not going to get any snow at all. 37 for the overnight low tonight. As you can see, it's going to be a little bit warmer for the overnight lows. A few light sprinkles Wednesday morning. Snow again in the upper elevations, but it's not going to last. A high of 57, then we'll get to 59. Again, pretty chilly for the overnight low, and then a little bit warmer on Friday, 62. But fairly unsettled weather, I guess is the best way to put it. 62, 64 for afternoon highs Friday and Saturday. We cool right back down to the 50s on Sunday and Monday. Our record low temperature, by the way, for this date is 29 degrees. That was set back in 2009. I don't think we're going to get down to 29 later on this morning, but I think we could probably get down to just about the freezing mark. And as I already mentioned, there are some locations in our viewing area that are already below freezing. Hope you had a chance to take care of those sensitive plants outside and your outdoor plumbing. You don't want that freezing up. That's your forecast, 7 minutes after the hour, a 1-minute break, and then your Tuesday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
Kids are resilient. I just love their energy. They bounce back so quickly. I love the stories they tell. I love just their charisma, their character. I love to see that subtle smile that you pull out of a kid, you know, when you start talking with them about something they really like. I just love what I do, and I can't imagine I would be as happy doing anything else.
At Wenatchee Power Sports, we proudly offer the Polaris product line. Polaris builds the highest quality side-by-side in the industry, with off-road capability that's second to none. The Polaris pre-order program allows customers to purchase the vehicle they want without having to select from limited dealer inventory. The Wenatchee Valley has year-round access to some of the best ORV trails in the Northwest. Start your adventure here at Wenatchee Power Sports.
9 minutes after the hour, 34 degrees, high clouds. We'll be lucky to get to 60 today with some late afternoon rain. You'll notice as the day progresses, the clouds will be arriving, and we'll have some light rain, it looks like, late this afternoon into the early evening hours with snow at 3,300 feet and above. We begin with this very important story for you folks who drive regularly between Chelan and Wenatchee. The Knapp's Hill Tunnel on Highway 97A is going to be closed much to the day today. Crews are going to be repairing that damage that was done to the tunnel during a September 16th accident. So the Knapp's Hill Tunnel will be closed starting at 8 o'clock this morning, about 50 minutes from now. It'll remain closed in both directions in its entirety until 4:30 this afternoon. On the Chelan County side of the highway, 97A, you'll have to take the Navarre Cooley Road. They are asking people to use the east side of the Columbia River, US 97, if you need to give up to Chelan. Back on September 16th, 12 support beams in the tunnel were damaged when a southbound vehicle swerved into the oncoming lane, struck a northbound box truck, which then hit another vehicle before crashing into the tunnel wall. Link Transit said during the tunnel closures, its bus routes between Manson and Wenatchee will be using Highway 97 on the east side of the Columbia River. The latest real estate trends continue for the Wenatchee Valley. Same deal as we've been seeing for quite some time. Prices are going up. Sales are going down. The Pacific Appraisal Associates report shows that the median sales price for a home in the Wenatchee market up 19% compared to last year. $435,000 is the median sales price in Wenatchee. September of last year, it was $365,000. Total home sales last month down sharply compared to September of last year. 96 homes were sold in September of this year. 293 homes were sold in September of 2020. The bright spot of the report, active listings are up 42% in September compared to August of this year, and they're up 19% compared to September of last year. The Wenatchee real estate market consists of Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, Malaga, Arundel, and Rock Island. Big Bend Community College is the latest to demand COVID-19 vaccinations for its student body. Full vaccination will be required for all students learning on the campus at Big Bend instructional sites when the winter quarter begins on January 3rd. Students will be asked to either attest to their vaccination status or have an approved medical or religious exemption by December 16th to avoid having their classes dropped for the winter quarter. Now, if you're a student taking online classes only, you're not required to be vaccinated. Any requests for exemptions has to be turned into the college no later than December 6th. Well, as they were anticipating, it was hard to get around roads in the backwoods of the Okanogan-Wenatchee National Forest over the weekend. They were clogged with vehicles as people headed to the hills to view the fall colors, which were pretty much at their peak. The Forest Service said the road was especially bad at Rainy Creek Road. That's off Highway 2, west of Leavenworth. Traffic was backed up for more than a mile. Numerous vehicles double parked, angry drivers trying to get up and down the road in what was barely one lane of travel to begin with. The Forest Service said several hikers had to spend a significant amount of time directing traffic. More than 9,000 acres of land in northeast Okanogan County is now the property of the Colville Confederated Tribes. The nonprofit Conservation Northwest closed the sale of the land in the Tunk Valley last Thursday, and the deeds are now in the hands of the tribe. The land is the former ranch property that was originally part of the Colville Reservation before its boundaries were redrawn by Congress back in 1892. It's also a major corridor for habitat migration between the Cascades and the Kettle River Range. The purchase cost, $4.6 million, was paid through by private donations. The reshaping of Washington's voting districts, of course, is well underway. Last week, the state's bipartisan redistricting commission heard public testimony on its 4 proposed maps for state legislative districts. Well, last Saturday, the subject was congressional districts, including the 8th district, which under 2 Democratic proposals would lose East Wenatchee to the neighboring 4th district. Here's what some local observers had to say.
Communities of interest should stay together geographically within a single congressional district. This should be true for Native, Latinx, and other ethnic communities, but it also should be true for cities and communities that work together across boundaries to provide services. Wenatchee and East Wenatchee share many resources, programs, and organizations. As such, they should remain together within 1 congressional district and 1 legislative district.
And if they can include the metro Wenatchee area, and if you don't include them, you're cutting off the Latinx voters that exist on the other side of the river. Currently, the 8th Congressional District includes the parts of the city of East Wenatchee, but not enough of it in the new map. Examples of interest that share on both sides of the community, $92 million was recently provided by the Department of Transportation to help the transportation needs of what East Wenatchee and Wenatchee. Those were supported by both counties. Those were supported by both cities.
Though I think the city of East Wenatchee should be added to the HCD because of the keeping the Latino population contiguous. And, to make up for adding more people there, you could shave off down around Yelm and Roy in that area.
So the map as proposed by Commissioner Walkinshaw takes into consideration the needs of the people, the representation and acknowledgement in the geographical and economic connections already made by those of us in CD8. I believe that his map will mostly represent the needs of the communities in these areas and will keep the people moving forward in the right direction.
Finally, on this Tuesday, a Fish and Wildlife officer was the hero when a big old bull elk got caught in barbed wire. This happened over the weekend. Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife Officer Eric Boyd responded to find that large elk with its antlers completely entangled in barbed wire and 2 fence posts, which then got wrapped in another fence. Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife biologist Emily Jeffries and some neighbors assisted in darting the bull. The bull went to sleep. All the wire was removed. The bull was last seen wandering off. Barbed wire free. Good news there. And that's what's making headlines. At 16 minutes after the hour, it's been a busy couple of weeks around the bullpen, and I have a feeling we're going to have another busy news day today. It always seems to be that way. With a preview of some of the stories we're working on, here's the anchor of the evening news, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, increasing clouds and cool in our Tuesday weather forecast with a chance of overnight rain. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom will take a look at tonight's prep sports schedule as well as the latest on the Major League Baseball playoffs. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. Don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. We try to make it as easy as possible. You can go to our Facebook page and use the Messenger app. You can email us directly. Might be the best way to go about doing that. That's news at ncwlife.com, or go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, and there's a Contact Us icon at the top of our homepage, and it's pretty self-explanatory from there. Highlights from a very exciting Monday in postseason baseball. My favorite of all the sporting activities is postseason baseball. We got highlights of all 3 games that were played yesterday when we come back with sports. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Welcome to Crunch Pack, the #1 supplier of sliced apples and a premier employer in the Wenatchee Valley. We are looking to add new members to our Crunch Pack team. We offer full-time work with great benefits in a safe environment with fantastic people. As a part of the Crunch Pack family, you'll find a home that's all about helping you thrive and succeed. Come see what Crunch Pack can do for you. Apply today at 300 Sunset Highway in Cashmere or online at crunchpack.com.
The Clearwater Saloon and Casino is the perfect place to meet in East Wenatchee. The Old West theme takes you back in time with casino gambling and poker table. And now you can play the best games on or off the tables. Stop by and check out the new game room. All your favorite games and extended late night hours makes the Clearwater your best bet for a great time. And if time slips away having so much fun, stay the night next door at the Cedars Inn. It's all here nightly at the Clearwater Saloon and Casino in East Wenatchee.
18 minutes after the hour, the drama of postseason baseball continued yesterday. The long ball taking center stage. Boston heading to the American League Championship Series. They beat Tampa Bay 6-5 in a walk-off home run by Kiki Hernandez.
On an 0-1 pitch, Hernandez lifts one to left center field. It is pulled in by Meadows. Here comes Santana. The Red Sox into the championship series. Kike Hernandez trying to take the title, a new Mr. October. 9 hits and the sacrifice fly that sends the Boston Red Sox to the American League Championship Series.
But the real hero for the Red Sox yesterday, Rafael Devers, his 3-run home run helped Boston to put themselves in a position to win in the first place. Earlier in the day, by the way, Atlanta took a 2-1 lead in its National League Divisional Series with Milwaukee, thanks to this home run by Jock Peterson.
to right field. Garcia going back, looking up, it is gone! A blast, pitch hit, 3-run home run for Jock Peterson, and the Atlanta Braves are on top, 3-0. His second pinch hit home run of this NLDS.
But the best game of the day yesterday, of the 3 games that were played, and they were all good, was at Dodger Stadium. Just 1 run scored between the Giants and the Dodgers, courtesy of Evan Longoria.
Evan Longoria will start it for the Giants. Max Scherzer back to work as we go to the 5th inning. Fly ball left field, hit pretty well. Back on it is Pollock. This ball's carrying, and this ball is gone! Evan Longoria puts the Giants on top. First hit of the postseason this year for Longoria. He touches them all, and the Giants, a team that led the National League in homers this year, get a big hit and homer from Longoria.
1-0 baseball postseason games. They got 11, by the way. Houston and Chicago rained out in the city with the big shoulders. They'll play this morning at 11:07 on FS1. The Braves will try to put Milwaukee out of the playoffs in Atlanta today. That's 2:15 on TBS, and LA will try and stay alive 6:07 tonight against San Francisco. The question about when Russell Wilson will be back into the starting lineup still unanswered today. Pete Carroll meeting with reporters, as he always does on Mondays.
Russ had a very successful surgery, and we're really happy with all of the reports, and we don't have any timelines for you at all right now. So then that's all you want to hear. But we don't have anything like that. But he's in really good spirits and really active today, as much as he can be around us and all that, and really happy for the results of the initial part of it. We haven't seen very many doctors that ever say well, it didn't go that well, but no, he went to a great doc and great setup and all that, and it seems like he really maxed out what he could possibly get done.
According to Pete Carroll, until Russell Wilson returns, the offense is in the hands of Geno Smith, and the 10-year veteran, according to Coach Carroll, is capable of getting the job done.
And he's been through everything that we've done. He's gone every step of the way with Russ. They have been, just shoulder to shoulder through all of the process. He's been a great help for us. He's been a great sounding board for us. He's just been an asset, so. And what he's done also, he is prepared to play every single week we've ever been out here. He's always been prepared to go, always worked really hard at it, knew how important that it was to do that, and embraced the opportunity and the role of it, and did, and you can see, look how sharp he was, for jumping in there. He was prepared.
Seahawks will be at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh Sunday night to take on the Steelers. Okay, to the Les Schwab Prep Scoreboard from finals from yesterday on the pitch in girls soccer. Bridgeport edged Okanogan 3-2, and Tonasket topped Liberty Bell 1-0. Prep volleyball last night. Kashmir shut out Quincy in 3 sets. Antioch topped Riverside Christian also in 3 sets. Took them 4 sets for Waterville Mansfield to knock off Moses Lake Christian. The soccer schedule today is a busy one. Look at that. The 4 o'clock games have Kashmir at Omak. Bridgeport will host Pateras. Manson travels to Tonasket. Chelan will host Cascade, and Okanogan is in Brewster. Quincy plays host to Warden at 5. At 6 o'clock, you got Ephrata entertaining Ellensburg. At 7, a battle of the top spot in the Big 9. Eastmont will be at Lions Field to take on Moses Lake, and the Wenatchee Panthers are on the road in Yakima, the gateway to Wapato. It's also very busy on the college volleyball courts. In North Central Washington tonight, the 5:30 matches have Bridgeport at Wilson Creek. Antioch travels to Easton. Chelan will host Cascade at 6:30. Kashmir plays at Omak. Brewster will host Tonasket. Cascade Christian is at Soap Lake. Manson will host Liberty Bell. 7 o'clock, Wenatchee at Ike. Ephrata will host East Valley of Yakima. Pateras is at Moses Lake Christian. Eastmont was supposed to play at Moses Lake tonight, but there is COVID issues in the Chiefs program, so they will not play tonight. And those are just some of the games that people are playing, or in this case, not playing, on this Tuesday. I had 4 obscure holidays to choose from. Today is National Savings Day. Today is National Free Thought Day. Today is National Gumbo Day. I love me a big bowl of gumbo on a bed of rice. I love gumbo. It occasionally doesn't love me. But no, National Farmers Day today. We love our farmers. It's October 12th of every year. It's National Farmers Day. We appreciate farmers because myself and almost everybody I know likes to eat. In 1921, 100 years ago, in this country, 30% of the population of the United States in 1921 were farmers. Only 2% of the population of the United States today are farmers. There are a lot of farms. There are about 2 million farms in this country. They employ about 3 million people. Most of the farms in the United States are small farms. The United States Department of Agriculture identifies a small farm as any farm that earns $350,000 a year or less. And approximately 90% of all the farms in this country fall into that category. Large-scale farms, according to the USDA, are farms that earn between $1 million and $5 million a year. 2.5% of all the farms in this country fall into that category, but the large-scale farms produce over half of the fruits and vegetables. So there's not very many large-scale farms, but they're growing a lot of food. There's about 900 million acres of farmland in this country. Approximate value of that land, $2 trillion. And one third of all the farmers out there in this country are women. I like that. Happy National Farmers Day today. No farmers, no food. No food, no life. Happy National Farmers Day. All right, today in history. It's October 12th. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. He had 3 ships. He left from Spain. He sailed through sunshine, wind, and rain. And on October 12th, 1492, they fell off the edge of the earth. No, they made it. That's right. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong notes here. They made it. Landfall in the Caribbean. Columbus's first expedition landed. He thought he was in, he didn't know where he exactly was. He called the indigenous people there Indios, that's Spanish for Indians, excuse me, because he thought he had landed in the East Indies. He didn't land in the East Indies. So the islands in the Caribbeans are called the West Indies because he thought he was in the East Indies. He wasn't anywhere close. But he made it, didn't fall off the edge of the earth, claimed a bunch of stuff for Spain, went back. 529 years ago today, Christopher Columbus made it. October 12th, 1901, 120 years ago today, happy birthday to the White House being the White House. 120 years ago today, President Theodore Roosevelt officially renamed the Executive Mansion, that's what it was called, he had renamed it officially to the White House. He added the term White House on his official stationery, and it's been the White House ever since. It used to be the Executive Mansion. Now it's the White House, and it has been for 120 years. If you're a conscientious objector, which means I will fight for my country, I will go to war, but I won't kill anybody. Most of the time you serve as a medic or a doctor or a nurse. You serve mostly in the medical corps or the support staff because you're a conscientious objector. That means you won't carry guns and kill other people. Desmond Doss. You know the story of Desmond Doss? You ever see the movie Hacksaw Ridge? That's the story of Desmond Doss. He became, on this date, in 1945, the very first conscientious objector to receive the United States Medal of Honor. He did it by saving 75 men as a combat medic during the Battle of Okinawa. During the Battle of Okinawa, he single-handedly saved the lives of 75 men as a combat medic during World War II, and he won the U.S. Medal of Honor, the first conscientious objector to do that 76 years ago today. Here come the 1956 Power Slide Chryslers. Their 1956 lineup of cars was announced on October 12th, 1955. I should say 1955, not 65. What did they have that no other car had? Be it Chrysler, Ford, GM, they had these things. A record player. Throw it up there. There it is, yeah. The 1956 Chrysler lineup of cars included the option of a high-fidelity record player. It's about 4 inches high, about a foot wide. It was mounted under the instrument panel, as you can see. The 7-inch discs spun at 16 2/3 RPMs. It required almost 3 times the number of grooves as an LP would. You could only buy these special records at your local Chrysler dealer. Your local record store didn't carry them, so if you didn't want to listen to the radio in your 1956 Chrysler, you could play records in your car. Bring it back. That's what I say. Skip. Technology. The thought was ahead of the technology. That was 66 years ago today. This is the 59th anniversary of a cyclone that hit the Pacific Northwest, the famous Columbus Day storm of 1962. It killed 46 people, $230 million in damages from Portland to Seattle to Vancouver. There were no radar stations back in 1962, and there were no weather satellites. They didn't have computer models. It kind of came out of the blue. They only had about a 12-hour warning from the National Weather Service that said, hey, this is bad. This is really bad. The top wind gusts, nobody knows, because most of the measuring equipment that measured wind gusts at the weather stations in the Puget Sound and Portland area were destroyed. They were blown away. The Columbus Day storm hitting Seattle and the Pacific Northwest on this date in 1962. When it was all said and done, 46 people were killed. And I love postseason baseball because every pitch is intense. Every game, every out is intense. And here's a perfect example of this. October 12th, 1986, 35 years ago today, they needed just one more out, one more strike, and the California Angels would win their very first American League pennant and would go to the World Series for the very first time. Donnie Moore is on the mound, 2 outs, 2-2, bottom of the ninth, Dave Henderson at bat for the Red Sox.
To left field and deep and down he goes back and it's gone. Unbelievable. You're looking at one for the ages here. And 2 strikes. And out of there. In the bottom of the top of the ninth inning. Oh. That's second only to Fisk in the minds of everybody in New England. Oh, just astonishing.
It was a Sunday. I watched every pitch of that unbelievable baseball game. The Red Sox would go on to win Game 5 in Anaheim, 7-6 in 11 innings. Back to Boston they went. They won Game 6, and they won Game 7. The Red Sox advanced to the World Series after being 1 strike from being eliminated. Donnie Moore, the pitcher, never recovered from that pitch. He played just 2 more seasons in the major leagues. He was cut by the Angels in 1989. He signed with the Omaha Royals, an independent team. After he was cut, he was released in June of 1989. In July of 1989, Donnie Moore shot his wife and then turned the gun on himself and killed himself. His wife survived. Donnie Moore committed suicide less than 2 years later. Birthdays at 34 minutes after the hour. One half of the legendary Sam and Dave. Dave Prater passed away many, many years ago. Sam Moore is still kicking. He's 86 years old today, the great soul singer and songwriter, great songwriter, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1992. One of the great stories in all of rock and roll. Sam and Dave were together for 21 years, cranked out gobs of classic rhythm and blues hits. And Sam Moore and Dave Prater couldn't stand one another. For 13 years during the 70s and 80s, they never spoke. They would show up separately for shows, sat in separate dressing rooms, would not look at each other on stage. They had to communicate through intermediaries. So it's all about the music. Sam Moore and Dave Prater made great music for a long time, despite the fact that they couldn't stand one another. And also, we want to wish a happy birthday to Owen Watkin. As you all know by now, I follow the Welsh rugby team. It's one of my passions, the rugby team representing Scotland and Ireland. Owen Watkin is 25. Going to take a break at 35 minutes after the hour. Got an opinion from my Mad Dog McNaughty. And then our very first visit with, we hope to be a continuing series of visits with Sean Zears. He is the interim broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild as our good friend Arch Ecker continues to recover from his car accident. You're going to meet Sean via Skype when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
911, what is the address of your emergency?
Yes, it's me. It's my husband. I think he's had there's something the matter with him.
It was a feeling that I'll never forget, like being able to meet them and know that he survived.
Okay, tell me what's happening. Is he conscious? No, he's not. He's not. Okay, take a deep breath for me. I'm getting you help.
Rivercom means to me that I still have my husband here with me. They're the ones that guided me through saving his life.
Counterplay inside, picking his way back to the 10, to the 5, into the...
High school sports is back, and NCW Live Channel's got you covered. Tune in for football, girls soccer, and volleyball right here. A huge thank you to our sponsors, Les Schwab Tires, One Way Construction, and Save Mart. Follow all the action of high school sports on your local TV station, the NCW Live Channel.
14, they come back.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
When I was about 16, I got in a relationship. He hit me for the first time in front of his daughter. He physically abused me in front of my children. I couldn't do it no more. Sage was there for me when I needed them. I didn't hear a lecture from them. I didn't hear anything, but just acceptance. And that's what I needed at the time. And they help you with everything that you need to move on in life and heal.
In a world afraid of technology, one man, one show will bring you the newest innovations that may just change your life. This summer, Ray McNeil and your Weekly Tech Update is your Weekly Tech Update with Ray McNeil.
I'm Dr. Wayne Latimer. I'm a chiropractic physician. I have postgraduate certifications in both whiplash, trauma, and rehab, as well as sports medicine. The location is great. The light and the visibility, the 17-foot ceilings are fantastic. You can go into a lot of clinics, and it's very clinical. People really like the spa environment, so my whole premise was take a spa environment, add the very serious rehab, and give people an enjoyable way to get better over time.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, there seems to be a current trend in this country and in our community where the expression of Christian faith has degenerated into whether or not you wear a mask in public, get a COVID vaccination, or disrupt the public meeting. Now, how pathetic is that to think, hey, look at me, I'm a good Christian because I don't demonstrate a spirit of fear by wearing a mask when I go to Safeway. Hey, the Christians tortured in the Colosseum got nothing on me. But what about what the Apostle Paul teaches in the book of 1 Corinthians? That we Christians should stop insisting on our personal perceived rights and instead think of others. And by sharing Paul's attitude when he says, "For I'm not seeking my own good, but the good of many, so that they may be saved." This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
For more than 56 years, Crown Furniture and Mattress has been serving North Central Washington with the same principles we were founded on, offering the best quality, great value, incredible comfort, honesty, integrity, and of course, made in the USA. Because so much of our inventory is made in America, it has alleviated a lot of the shortages companies are experiencing nationwide. We are overstocked and ready to deliver. So stop by and see us today or visit us online at www.crownfurnitureandmattress.com.
Hi folks, welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chair on the other side. You can lift this up.
Great, I want that one. I would like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
Ooh. You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks. So bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
When Mike leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside. But we feel safer inside, knowing our home is being monitored by a local company. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere, so when we get home, I know it's safe.
Protect your family and save money with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to Guardian Services from LocalTel. Call Guardian Security from LocalTel now, or visit localtel.net to learn more.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether,
we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. As you well know by now, if you follow the Wenatchee Wild, our good friend Arch Ecker was involved in a very serious car accident in early summer back in June. He was driving home from Spokane and had a rollover accident on I-90 not far from Ritzville. Arch was very seriously injured. He spent an inordinate amount of time at a hospital in Spokane. Then Arch got through that health crisis, moved on to a rehabilitation facility. Arch is back here in the Apple Capital, but as Arch Ecker, the voice of the Wenatchee Wild, continues his recovery, the games must go on, so the Wenatchee Wild management had to reach out to find somebody to fill Arch's rather sizable shoes for a little while Arch continues his recovery, and that man joins us this morning, Sean Zears from the land of Lincoln, Illinois. Thanks for joining me, Sean. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Dan. I'm honored to be on television once again. It's really cool.
Before we get into the nuts and bolts of how you landed the gig and the challenges of calling the games online, because you will be calling the games remotely, Wenatchee Wild, Penticton V's overtime on Saturday night. Wenatchee Wild scored a couple of goals. Penticton got one more goal than Wenatchee Wild, so they lose, but at least they're playing hockey for the first time since March of 2020. I know it's early, Sean, but your impressions of this year's Wenatchee Wild team with just one game in the books.
I have to say that the team looked really sharp for not getting much action preseason-wise. I know they had a couple preseason games, but what I really think about this team is their forechecking. They caused a lot of turnovers, and I think this is going to be a team throughout the season that's going to win a lot of games on their defensive prowess. They just played really well, and honestly, that Penticton team, they're really good. I mean, they're always a really good team. So that was a great test for Wenatchee to come out and play their first game in 582 days, and to look as sharp as they did. The goaltending looked really good as well. And again, when you get in an overtime game, it's never an easy thing to play 3-on-3. But honestly, the whole team in a nutshell, looked really, really good. And I think that Chris has got a good team on his hand this year.
You mentioned Hank Levy, who did really good. 33 shots on goal. He saved 30 of them. He was a busy guy in front of the net, but he's off to a good start, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He really is off to a good start. He made a couple of point-blank saves and got a little help from the post. In fact, 3 shots that Penticton took literally went off the post. And sometimes your post is your best friend, and you got to expect that. But, yeah, Hank looked really good. And, again, the one thing that's going to be key for him and for the other goalie for the rest of the year is just going to make sure that defense plays well in front of him and doesn't allow any shots, screens, or anything like that. But, yeah, Hank did really good. I was really impressed with his first start.
How long does it take, and you've been calling hockey for a long, long time, how long does it take for a team to really gel, to find its identity, to understand what line maybe you belong in, or your overall role within the Wenatchee Wild team to make this team good? How long does it take a team to really understand each other and their roles when they're out on the ice?
Well, sometimes it takes a few games. Sometimes it may take half a season because you never know what line is going to click and what line isn't going to really work. And this happens during the game a lot, too. You'll see line changes a lot. In fact, it happened for both teams. They were mixing the lines up just to make sure to try and get something going. I know for a fact that with Wenatchee going on a 9-game road trip, with 2 of those games being technically neutral site, you might find that the team may gel and those lines may gel a lot quicker than usual because all they're doing is being together and working together, and that's all they're going to be doing is working and being together rather than being at home and being with billet families and then doing wherever else they need to do. So it's going to be interesting here about Game 5 or Game 6 after the showcase in Chilliwack that you might see a formidable 4 lines that are going to be sticking together. And Chris has got that luxury of having a few guys that you can plug in and out. But I expect this team to gel very early because of all the road games that they're going to be playing.
Again, we're talking to Sean Zears, the interim broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, while Arch Ecker continues his recovery. Best wishes, Arch, by the way. I know he's glad being back here in Wenatchee. How do you do your homework, considering you're in Illinois and they're in Canada? How do you prepare for a broadcast with a team that hasn't played in a year and a half with an entirely new roster? How does that? What's the challenges involved there?
I think a lot of the challenges are going to be just knowing the other team, because I'll know Wenatchee pretty well. In fact, I have a pretty good grasp on them, but it's the other teams. I'm relying on a lot of emails and a lot of text messages. That's only if they can send a text in the United States, too. So you have that issue. But definitely a lot of help from the broadcasters throughout the BCHL. I know that they've been so receptive to me and reaching out and doing whatever they can. In fact, up in Penticton, it was very easy to get a lineup sheet from them because normally about 20 or 25 minutes before the game, you typically know what the starting lineups are going to be. Well, in this case, you really don't because, one, I'm not at the arena, so I can't have an off-ice official give me any sheets. I have to rely on everybody else. So, the modern technology, thank goodness, is allowing this to happen because about 10 or 15 years ago, we wouldn't be talking about this. But it's just a lot of help from a lot of people and very grateful for all that help that I'm getting right now.
All the games that Sean will be calling he'll be calling them remotely. He'll be probably in the very room you're at right now, Sean, at your home in Illinois. So you are at the mercy of what they're sending down the line to you. Fortunately, my circumstances, what I've been able to see with the BCHL live hockey streams is that the camera people are pretty good.
Oh, they are really good. Absolutely. The preseason games, they were fantastic. Penticton was fantastic. The views are amazing. So I think that I'm very grateful to the folks there who are going to be calling those games and to work with them to make sure that, hey, I can't have this really far away view or something like that. Now, of course, when we get back to Wenatchee, it's going to be really nice because now I'll have direct contact and have as much leeway, hopefully, as possible Now, there are ways that you can get around not watching hockey TV, and we still have a few things that we have to figure out because modern technology doesn't allow it like right away. So I have to be as careful as possible when we're talking with Hockey TV, the provider for the BCHL. So it's a little bit of a mishmash, but we'll all get through this. And I know that Bliss and Chris are very excited to get back home, to have a home broadcast. And 560 KPQ has just been so wonderful to work with as well, and working with them and getting the broadcast on, and hopefully soon we can get the Hockey TV broadcast going as well.
Paint us the picture as Wild fans are listening to you call the action. We'll use Saturday night as an example with their overtime loss to Penticton. You're in your studio right now. How do you give us an idea of what you're doing? Do you have like 4 or 5 screens up and notes and all kinds of different things? How do you do that?
Oh, it's definitely different because as we were talking off air before, calling a hockey game is so much different when you're in the arena because you have that atmosphere. You can see plays develop more and everything like that. And then you have a computer screen that you're looking at, but the vision is right on the ice. Now, I have a monitor next to me, and so I got the game on one monitor. I got stats on another monitor. I got notes right here, right in front of me that I'm looking, I look down here at the notes, keeping track of shots and little keynotes and things like that. And then, of course, I got the sponsors, so you got to mention them too, and you got another sheet right there. But really, honestly, it's kind of like being at the rink, except you're at home. You control your temperature. You can, don't have to run to the bathroom. It's not that far away, unlike other places. So it's kind of nice to have that. And of course, you always have the barking dogs because I have 3 dogs and 3 cats. So if the dogs are getting excited because they see something, well, maybe they'll join in on the fun too. And of course, your best friend is always going to be the noise because I didn't do it the first game, but I'm hoping the second game I'm going to do it. I have a little background noise that I'll play, kind of to act like I'm actually at the rink. It's not like dead space air, like right now, basically.
One of the biggest drawbacks to me, anyway, is that you're not here in Wenatchee, which is a beautiful, gorgeous area. I don't know if you know anything about the Wenatchee Valley, but it's one of the most beautiful places to live. Nothing against Illinois. I've been to Illinois. It's kind of flat. Do you have any plans at all to make it up here to the Pacific Northwest and North Central Washington in the near future?
I do. And it's all based on what Arch has got going on. The sooner the better he can get back to doing this, because it is big shoes to fill when you said that. It truly is. But, there's no expectation for him. We don't know when he's going to be coming back, and I'm here for the long haul, however long it takes. So if he's not back by, let's say, the end of December, my plan is hopefully to come up for the New Year's Eve weekend game, the Thursday, Friday, to come up and visit. Now, a little tidbit, my daughter actually has always wanted to go to Washington. And she's like, hey, you might get to call games up there? I said, yeah. And she's going, okay. Can I go with? Sure. So we're hoping that we can make it a full weekend to go see Wenatchee and the whole entire valley area, and just because we've heard nothing but great things about it. And I'm really looking forward, if Arch isn't back by then, to call a game, in Wenatchee, because it's a beautiful arena. It truly is.
It's one of the best arenas in the British Columbia Hockey League. There's no question about that. And you're going to love it up here. I hope, as you mentioned before, the sooner Arch gets back, the better. But you got to come up and see us here in the Pacific Northwest. One more question for Sean Zears, and I'm going to cut him loose. Wenatchee doesn't play again until Saturday night against the Trail Smoke Eaters. And again, as you know by now, Wenatchee is spending their first 9 games in Canada because of travel restrictions. They don't even play here in Wenatchee until November 11th. Preview Wenatchee and Trail on Saturday night. What can you tell me about the Smoke Eaters?
Well, the 2 teams played a preseason game, and that was an overtime victory that they picked up against Trail. So I have a feeling that, you're going to see the same thing. It's going to be one of these, a lot of offensive prowess. They're going to attack, and then they're going to try and forecheck as much as they can to cause a turnover in their offensive zone to make sure that they get as many chances as possible. And I think what another big thing is Chris is going to probably be working on the power play this week because they had some opportunities. Now, Penticton's really good on the penalty kill, but, it's that stretch where you go, where you have all these opportunities on the power play and you can't capitalize. What are we doing wrong? What do we have to do? I have a feeling that you're going to see a lot more work on that this week, and you might see a little bit of different style of power play prowess going on there. But it should be a great game. And again, when you only have one game a week, you have time to rest and recuperate, and hopefully the boys can pick up a win and get their first win for Chris behind the bench.
Sean Zears, the interim voice of the Wenatchee Wild. Again, get well soon, Arch. Sean, I'd like to have you on the show on a pretty regular basis to give us the latest Wenatchee Wild update, if you don't mind, maybe once a week or so.
Oh, no, absolutely. We would love that. Absolutely. That would be great, Dan. I appreciate it.
I will be in touch. Sean Zears, who will be calling the Wenatchee Wild broadcast both on the web and on radio on their flagship station, 560 KPQ, until Arch returns, which hopefully will be soon. But you're doing a great job. You paint a great picture. I listened on Saturday night, and I was entertained. If you can entertain me, Sean, you can entertain anybody.
I really appreciate that, Dan, because we're all our worst critics, everybody in the media. Oh, we hate listening to ourselves. Well, that's a very nice compliment. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Sean, I'll be tuning in on the 16th and say hi to my friends in Illinois. I don't have any, but if I ever find some, you can say hi to them for me. And we'll talk to you soon. All right, Sean?
You got it, Dan. Thank you.
All right, you're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, independent agent and owner at Springwater Insurance Group here in North Central Washington. And it's that time of year again. October 15th to December 7th, that is the time if you have a Medicare plan, do I want to keep it or do I want to change it? For any of those questions, give us a call at Springwater Insurance Group because we're independent agents. We don't work with one company, we work with many companies because all of you have different situations and needs. So if you have questions about 2021 Medicare plans, give us a call, 888-2600.
You're in Ford Country, land of Pat Armstrong, Ford Lincoln, home of the lifetime warranty. That'll sure get you thinking.
Get ready for fall and winter with a new or used truck or SUV from North Central Washington's four-wheel drive headquarters, Pat Armstrong Ford Lincoln on 3rd Street in East Wenatchee.
Land of Pat Armstrong, Ford Lincoln, you're in Ford Country.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
When it comes to finding a memory care community, you want the very best. You want to know that your loved one is safe and receiving compassionate care in a loving environment. Fieldstone Memory Care is an innovative assisted living community designed for those with Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's disease. You'll find a community specifically designed to enrich residents' lives. The Fieldstone team is here to help you navigate the important decisions you face when a loved one has dementia or Alzheimer's. Welcome home to Fieldstone.
Okay, I just hit the refresh button on our local weather stations on the National Weather Service, and here we go. Still 34 degrees outside of our studios. It looks like that's what we're going to be bottoming out at. We're going to start warming up a little bit. Other locations, Fred at 30, Moses Lake 28, Manson 28, Omak, the cold spot, at 26 degrees, downtown Dryden 31, suburban Dryden 31. It is cold, but there's a little bit of warm up coming after we get through, believe it or not, some high elevation snow from the National Weather Service. Let's take a look at the forecast. The clouds are going to start rolling in as the day progresses. You'll notice that it will be fairly cloudy by the end of the day today and a little bit of light rain. Basically between about 4 or 5 this afternoon until about 8 o'clock tonight, some sprinkles, a little bit of rain. Now the snow level is going to be at 3,300 feet, so 3,300 feet and above, a little bit of light snow. They think Stevens is going to get maybe a couple of inches of snow tonight, but they say it's going to be slushy. It's going to melt pretty quickly. Not going to be much of a driving concern with the overnight snow. 37 for the overnight low. Still pretty chilly. Wednesday, some little bit of light rain in the morning, sunshine in the afternoon. Again, chilly. 57 for our afternoon high tomorrow. And that's it for us. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.